Hello students, let's start class 6 chapter Social Studies Locating Places on Earth. Okay, in this what are we going to learn? We are going to learn about how we are going to locate the places. So there are various ways by which we locate the places. Now we start with the map. See in the first page, basically a map has been given. Suppose you have to go to the school. From the school you have to go to your home, or you want to go to your friend's place. How you generally tell that you come this way, then you move right, then you will get a tree. This is how we generally describe if somebody wants to reach a particular place. But what are the better ways? How are we going to go? These days we have Google maps available, which are very convenient and easy. The best way in order to go to someone's house or school, or you want to locate. But what are the criteria? We need to know a lot of things which we are going to study in this chapter. Let's start with the first part. Now, what is a map? A map is a representation or a drawing of some area, right? Suppose a small village, or even say a district. You have got maps of your own state, you have maps of India, then you have world map. There you can always locate, like if I say where is China, it is more north of India, right? So in this way map gives you a understanding, or since it is a representation, so it helps you to understand the location. And there are many things by which we can come to know about the map. So according to that thing, we have divided the map into physical, political and thematic. So physical means which shows some natural features like mountains, oceans, rivers. We have political maps for countries, boundaries, cities, union territories, and thematic map which give a particular type of information, like you have population, temperature, rainfall. All these belong to thematic maps. Question: what is a map? Types of map: explain physical map, give an example. Or you can be given a map and you match the following, or you have to tell rainfall comes under which map, right? Like this. What is an atlas? A book or collection of maps. What are the three important components of map? Distance, direction and symbols. Now distance, direction and symbols we are going to study at least 2-3 lines each. Now distance is what? See, you have distance between two cities. Say if you are seeing a map of India, say between Delhi and UP, or UP to Bihar, or Bihar to say Kolkata, there is a lot of distance. So how you're going to represent in on the map? So we use a scale. So in the scale, and that you have to mention it. You will see on the maps it will be mentioned. Like for example, it is given that 1 centimeter is equals to 500 meters. So that means actual distance on the ground is 500 meter, but on the map it is equals to 1 centimeter. So you cannot have a map which can show the exact distance, not possible, because it is a small piece of paper. So this is where the scaling helps. So this is the importance of scale, and it tells the ratio between the 2 points on the map to the actual distance on the ground. Okay, this is what is called a scale. Now we come to directions. We have two types of directions: cardinal, north, south, east, west, and then we have intermediate directions like this: northeast, southeast, southwest, and this comes. Name the 4 cardinal directions. What are the other intermediate directions? And always the map, whenever you take a map, the north will be pointed up. You always you hold the map like this, right? Now what is the importance of symbols? Now symbols are a component which, when you do not have, see again, symbols help us to depict something. It can be buildings, it can be roads, it can be railways. So in a smaller way, so that it does not occupy space, so and does not look crowded. So that is why the symbols. And who have who has directed that these symbols should be used? The Survey of India. This also 1 mark question. Who has fixed the set of symbols? The Survey of India, which is a government body. See, you cannot make symbols of your own choice. So there are fixed symbols which has been given on this page. Like a railway line will always be represented like this. River will always be represented like this. This is the international boundary, state boundary, district boundary. You have to learn all the symbols, because it can be asked, this symbol stands for what, right? So this is the list of symbols. Now we come to what is a globe. See, generally, now let's a three-dimensional representation of the earth is called globe. Difference between map and globe: 2D, 3D. It is on a flat piece of paper. It is a round spherical. It represents the shape. It does not represent the shape. It represents the shape. Advantages: the map is easy to carry. Globe is difficult to carry. And these are 4 5 points, right? Of a map, you can see the entire thing on one piece of paper, like of the whole earth. But in case of globe, you see only half of the earth at one time. So these are the differences which also comes. Right, now what is the meaning of coordinates? For this we need to first remember latitude and longitude, which we had done even in class 4. Then I'll come to this coordinate. So see, when you are locating a place, this latitude and longitude really helps. So both the latitude and longitude represent the coordinates. So what is latitude? Now again, see, this is a long question. Either it can come, what are latitudes? Name some important latitudes, difference between latitude and longitude. So let's start with the difference. All the points will be covered in there only. Latitude, they run from west to east, north to south. They are also called parallel. They are called meridian. It divides into north and south hemisphere. It divides into east and west hemisphere. 0 degree is called equator. 0 degree is called prime meridian. This helps to divide it into climatic zones. These helps to the earth into time zones. So there are many points. So accordingly, you should know the name of all these 5 latitudes. We have see, equator, then we have Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle 23.5. And so we have the 65.5 degree north. So you always have to mention north. And on the southern hemisphere, we have Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle. Okay, so now we have done the differences. Now why 0 degree is called prime meridian? So we have 180 we have total 180 meridians, and the last one, see, meridian starts from here. See, when we go like this, at the back, it is neither considered east or west, and we only write 180 degree, right? Because they are joining when they are meeting. Okay. Now in India, this concept of prime meridian is important. This is also called Greenwich meridian. Why? Because in the year 1884, some nations decided that the meridian passing through Greenwich, an area of London in England, would become the international standard for prime meridian. When a particular meridian was considered as the international standard, it has to be named, and it was marked. Otherwise, how are we going to count? So that is why they decided to let's take this as the 0 degree, because we need a reference point to name the other meridians and count them. So 0 degree was decided as the reference point, and that was considered a prime meridian or Greenwich meridian. Why? Because it passes through Greenwich. Okay. Now what about India? Now what is grid? These lines, they intersect the latitude and the longitudes. Can you see? So they form a network of system which is called a grid. Now this really helps in locating the places. Why? Because the point where they intersect tells us about that place. Okay, now in India also, in ancient times, see, in India also had its own prime meridian which it used to use. So that was called the Madhya Rekha or Ujjaini. It was used for as a reference for calculation in all Indian astronomical texts. So this is a figure which is given. It used to pass through Ujjain. That is why it was called Ujjaini. Can you? This is so interesting. See, Indians were so intelligent. They knew the importance, and they decided that they should have their own. Though it is not used now, we go according to the international standards. But in those times also, India had. This is very important. See the extent of India from north to south and east to west. See, by looking, if you measure it, you will find it is almost exactly the same. Means the north to south extent is exactly the same as east to west, though it doesn't look like this when you see the map. So this degrees are 8 degree to 37. See, equator is below India. Tropic of Cancer passes just in the middle of India. Whenever you are studying social studies, take a map and always sit. These are very important things. So 8 to 37 and 68 to 97 degree east. This is the extent of India. Okay. Now we come to Earth rotates from dash to dash, west to east. Okay. Now this is important when we are remembering the time zone. How do we calculate the time? Now see, Earth one full rotation is how much? 360 degree. How much time does it take? 24 hours. So if 360 degrees equals to 24 hours, then, or you can say opposite, so 1 hour will be equal to how much? Unitary method, 15 degrees. So every 15 degree the time is going to change. This was decided. So if see here, for every 1 hour, it means it will be 15 degree. So you should know how to calculate the time also, depending upon, you have to count the number of meridians passing. So they are going to give you 15 degree difference of meridians, and then you have to calculate the time. For example, here it is given that one friend is sitting in Assam and another is sitting in Gujarat. Now the difference is how much? 30 degree. Means two meridians are passing in between. 15 degrees equals to 1 hour, so 30 degree will be equal to 2 hours. So the difference between the time will be 2 hours. Who will be ahead? The person sitting in Assam. Why? Because the earth moves from west to east. So east will always come, is way ahead. Now, but in India, you know what happens is that we do not follow this system of division of timings. Why? Because the span of India from east to west, the total span is very less. If we start having so many time zones, then it will lead to a lot of confusion. So India decided that we will follow, just India will fall only in one time zone. But if you see Russia or say US, see Russia, the east to west span is very long. It has a lot of time zones. Why? Because extreme east, suppose a person is in extreme east. Is the world map given here? Okay, see. And you see the west portion. No, you cannot have, suppose 3 p.m. here and here it is 3 p.m. It's not possible. Here it will otherwise be morning time. If you see, because the earth is rotating here, it will become, the sun will come first here, right? So that is why it has been divided into many time zones. But if you see India's stretch, it is so small. So that is why we, even in a person in Assam as well as a person in Gujarat, they will be in the same time zone. If it is 3 p.m. in Assam, in Gujarat also it will be 3 p.m. But yes, if you are told to find out the local time, then you can say, since it is 30 degree apart, so Assam will be 2 hours ahead, because for 15 degree it is 1 hour. For 30 degree it is 2 hours. So, but in order to avoid any type of confusion, so India decided that we will follow a standard time based on the meridian. International standard time is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of the local time at Greenwich Mean Time. See, suppose this Greenwich meridian, there the time is suppose 3 hours. Okay, 3 p.m. Now India is ahead how much? 5 hours and 30 minutes. So 5 plus 3, 8. So it will be 8:30 p.m. in India. If it is 3 p.m. in at Greenwich. Okay, why? Because so, and we have made it that throughout India, it will be considered 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of the time at Greenwich. So India follows this. Got it? Now we come to what? Now see, here it is given also. USA has 6 time zones, Russia has 11 time zones. Okay, so that is why they need to readjust the watch. We do not adjust our watch. Okay. Now we started with 0 degree, as we said. Suppose if this is the 0 degree. Now if you go like this, earth is round like this. So at the back you are reaching at 180 degree longitude. That will be called the international date line. Now why is it important? See, it was considered that, again, if you cross the international date line and you come on the east side, you will be considered 1 day ahead. Suppose if this is the international date time and date line, and you are now standing on the east side. Okay, you are standing on the east side. So here it is Monday. But in case of, if you cross the international date line this side, it will be Sunday. So you have to plus 1 on the east, and this side it will be minus 1. Okay. And why this line is not straight? See, this figure has been given. Let me see. No. See, international date line is never a straight line like this. It is slightly crooked. Why? Because according to the boundaries of the nation, it has been made, it deviates. Otherwise, suppose in the same country, if you say, if they do not make this and if it is straight, one half of the country will have Monday, one half will have Sunday. No, that's not possible. So that is why they, according to the boundaries of the nation, it was made like this. So that it is easy, at least the day. The time can be changed, but day cannot. Okay. Okay, see here what is written. If you are traveling eastward, you subtract a day. It does not mean eastern hemisphere. So don't get confused with this, because here the international date line is not in the front. It is at the back. So you have to consider that you are standing at the back. If you are standing at the back, your right side will become east, right? According to that. And that is why it is saying subtract. But otherwise, if suppose this is the international date line, say, okay, this is the eastern hemisphere and this is the western hemisphere. If you go to the western hemisphere, then you will lose one day. And if you go to the eastern hemisphere, then you will gain one day. Understood? So that is why here it is not the hemisphere which is given. Here it is given, if you are traveling eastward, you subtract a day. This is eastward, not eastern hemisphere. So you remember. Otherwise, if it is hemisphere, you always gain one day. But if the question is you are traveling eastward, remember this. Why? Because you are standing at the back of the globe. If you are standing at the back of the globe, there it is the difference. Understood? So nothing else which has been given. We have done all the questions. So what comes generally is that you have to calculate the time depending upon the degrees which I said, or you have to tell the day like this which I explained. So you remember, if you are standing in the international, you have to remember the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. So there is a difference. Okay, what else? I think we have done. Okay, another thing is they can give the map pictures. These pictures can be given. Picture of international date line can be given. Picture of equator can be given. And you have to identify, and then you have to tell what is it. Write two features of it. What is the degree of it? What is the importance of it? Okay, these type of questions.